A self-proclaimed Pashtun, yet a Punjabi by origin. An ex-cricketer and playboy, known for his looks in his youth and moving in Western elite circles. Now, a fascist cult leader who has wreaked havoc in Pakistan using religion as his political card.
तो सुने नहीं, अब सुने गौर से। मैं हूं एक जो अपने आप को आशिक रसूल कहता हूं।
From a small anti-status quo pressure group to a full-blown anti-state political wing of the TTP, Mr. Khan's disastrous tenure as a puppet-rigged prime minister was marked by the settlement of thousands of TTP terrorists, mostly in the KPK, where he still rules. This also led to the empowerment of extremist groups in Punjab and Balochistan. After coming into power, and a long struggle to be adopted by the military and finally launched against the other two parties. This year marks his 12-year rule in the KPK, leaving the province bankrupt, crippled by empty promises, and not knowing how to even pay school teachers next month, but still funds trolls on the Exchequer's account. The Syrian misogynist and predator has a history of objectifying women at events and rallies, blaming rape victims and turning a blind eye to pedophilia and harassment. His government in the KPK even moved a convicted child pornographer from Europe under the pretext of local punishment, only to free him here and appoint him as an IT consultant in their government, where the convict continued his criminal activities involving child pornography, mostly for the dark web. His fascist, racist, misogynistic and terrorist upholding politics have brought suffering to every Pakistani citizen, especially women and children. From calling victims of the Hajra genocide blackmailers to his let them eat cake brush-offs in his much planted interviews, his whole tenure was a catastrophic political victimization of his opponents and Mr. Khan's photo shoots. From his Playboy era bragging stories of actresses and models, mostly white, to his jihadi Islamic touch and politics of violence and anarchy.
Osama bin Laden को इन्होंने अमेरिकन ने आके एबटाबाद में मार दिया, शहीद कर दिया। उसके बाद क्या हुआ? ओसामा बिन लादेन को इन्होंने अमेरिकन ने आके एबटाबाद में मार दिया, शहीद कर दिया। उसके बाद क्या हुआ?
His catastrophic bigotry and refusal to acknowledge his love child are merely the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his double standards. A failed governance, the paid publicity he so has come to believe now. Over the years, many women have come forward and tried to speak or voice Mr. Khan's predatory behavior. From Hajra Khan's self-published memoir in 2014, after escaping him and his rackets, has seen years of brutal attacks, trolling by his media cells, where he's even has gone as far as framing his victims who speak out against him in dark blasphemy laws, attacking their attire or liberal values. The voice of his own party worker Gulala Ismail was crushed after he harassed her by sending her unsolicited texts and images of Mr. Khan's private parts. His trolls threatened to rape and throw acid on her, and she too was silenced. Very earlier on, his friend's ex-wife Imbisat spoke against him and his dark rackets decades ago. And finally, the tell-all book of his second ex-wife was not met with any mercy either by him and his followers, as she spoke out against his rather dubious lifestyle and drug abuse. Many other women have surfaced over the years but silenced, recounting his predatory sociopathic behavior, counsel stories of substance abuse, debauchery, and his rackets, mostly involved in facilitating him and protecting him.
I am only here because I have been publicly challenged by Imran Khan's statements to the press, which appear to allege that he is not the father of my daughter, and that I should go, quote unquote, to the courts to prove he is the father. This entire situation is deeply painful and sadly disappointing for me. Since my child's birth 4.5 years ago, my past conversations with Imran allowed me to trust his words that in time he would personally acknowledge to our daughter who her biological father is and why he couldn't be in personal contact with her all these years. I have never asked for anything of Imran. Now I ask only for the truth and for the rights of my daughter.
If we're to go by anything history says, a no show by Mr. Taliban Khan is always better than a show by Mr. Taliban Khan. The University of Bradford was very lucky in cutting their losses. But will Oxford be so? In a recent effort by the free-thinking people of Pakistan, many from the public all over the world petitioned their protest to the University of Oxford, raising these issues in the free press. Will those painting zebra lines on him continue, or will they watch silently as the disaster puppet takes a circus to Oxford? To recall it even as a colonial payback? Or let the UK's esteemed institution taste the third division sports quota imposter? Comical yet catastrophic, senseless but terrorizing. His doctrines dip deep in annihilating narcissistic entitlement. The UK and Oxford, we ask, will you take him back?
Are different from us and let you feel what that feels like. And there were many, many, many powerful performances this year that did exactly that. Breathtaking, compassionate work. But there was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. But it was effective and it did its job. It made its intended audience laugh and show their teeth. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head because it wasn't in a movie. It was real life. And this instinct to humiliate, when it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life because it kind of gives permission for other people to do the same thing. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose. Okay, go up with that thing. Okay, this brings me to the press. We need the principled press to hold power to account, to call them on the carpet for every outrage